विष्णुपाद परमहंसकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर छत श्रीमद अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शीला प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य शीला प्रभुपाद की जय। नामाचार्य शीला हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। ग्रंथरा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So, welcome to this morning Bhagavatam class. Today we are reciting the verse from Canto 4, Chapter 12. Dhruva Maharaj goes back to Godhead, and the text number 44. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Text 44. Maitreya Uvacha. Etatte Bihitam Sarvam. Yat Prushtoham Ihatvaya. Dhruvasyodhama Yasasas Charitam Sammatam Satam. Maitreya Uvacha. Etatte Bihitam Sarvam. Yat Prishtoham Ihatvaya. Dhruvasyodhama Yasasas Charitam Sammatam Satam. Maitreya Uvacha. Etatte Bihitam Sarvam. Yat Prushtoham Ihatvaya. Dhruvasyodhama Yasasas Charitam Sammatam Satam. Prabhuji. Maitreya Uvacha. Yetate Bihitam Sarvam. Yat Prishtoham Ihatvaya. Yuvasyodhama Yasasas Charitam Sammatam Satam. Maitreya Uvacha. Yetate Bihitam Sarvam. Yat Prishtoham Ihatvaya. Dhruvasyodhama Yasasas Charitam Sammatam Satam. Maitreya Uvacha. Etate Bihitam Sarvam. Yat Prishtoham Ihatvaya. Dhruvasyodhama Yasasas Charitam Sammatam Satam. Mataji. Maitreya Uvacha. Etatte Bihitam Sarvam. Yat Prishtoham Ihatvaya. Dhruvasyodhama Yasasas Charitam Sammatam Satam. Maitreya Uvacha. एतत्ते विहितं सर्वं यत्पृष्टोऽहम् इह त्वया ध्रुवस्योद्दमयशसा चरितं सम्मतं सतम् मैत्रेय उवाच एतत्ते अभिहितं सर्वं यत्पृष्टोऽहम् इह त्वया ध्रुवस्योद्दामयशसा चरितं सम्मतं सतम्. Word to word meaning. Maitreya Uvacha. The great message Maitreya said. Etat, this, te, unto you, abhihitam, described, sarvam, everything, yet, what, prustaham, I was asked, iha, here, tvaya, by you, Dhruvasya, of Dhruva Maharaja, Uddhama, greatly uplifting, Yasasa, whose reputation, Charitam, character, Sammatam, approved, Satam, by great devotees. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Please repeat. The great sage Maitreya continued. My dear Vidura, whatever you have asked from me about the great reputation and character of Dhruva Maharaja, I have explained to you in all detail. Great saintly persons and devotees very much like to hear about Dhruva Maharaja. Purport, please listen. Srimad Bhagavatam means everything in relationship with Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whether we hear the pastimes and activities of Supreme Lord or we hear about the character, reputation and activities of his devotees, they are all one and the same. Neophyte devotees simply try to understand the pastimes of the Lord and are not very interested in hearing about the activities of his devotees. But such discrimination should not be indulged in by any real devotee. Sometimes less intelligent men try to hear about the rasa dance, about Krishna, and do not take care to hear about other portion of Srimad Bhagavatam, which they completely avoid. There are professional Bhagavatam reciters who abruptly go to the Rasa Leela chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam as if other portions of Srimad Bhagavatam were useless. This kind of discrimination and abrupt adoption of Rasa Leela pastimes of Lord is not approved by the Acharyas. A sincere devotee should read every chapter and every word of Srimad Bhagavatam. For the beginning verse described that is ripened fruit of all Vedic literature, devotees should not try to avoid even a word of Srimad Bhagavatam. The great sage Maitreya therefore affirmed herein that Bhagavatam is Sammatam Satam, approved by great devotees. Let's do Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी चबानुसुते देव प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे। Hare Krishna. So we are continuing the Srimad Bhagavatam Dhruva Maharaj pastimes. Finally we have almost reached the final stage of the Dhruva Maharaj pastime. Now, if you briefly recollect, for those who have not followed this pastime previously, so Dhruva Maharaj at the age of 5, he went to forest based on her mother's instructions because he was humiliated by his stepmother Suruchi, and then based on his mother Suniti's instruction, he went to forest to see Supreme Lord Vishnu. And what was his desire? He wanted to get the kingdom bigger than his great-grandfather, Brahma. So he went to the forest based on instructions from his mother, and on the way to the forest, he met Narada Muni. Again, it is arrangement of Supreme Lord Vishnu. By seeing Dhruva Maharaj's determination, he arranged Narada Muni. He inspired Narada Muni to see Dhruva Maharaj, and Narada Muni gave instructions to what he has to do and what mantra he has to recite. Based on his instructions, Dhruva Maharaj performed the tapasya, austerity, almost 6 months, where he did he was reciting the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and at the same time he was doing severe austerity. And within the 6 months of time, Supreme Lord appeared. As soon as he saw Supreme Lord, Dhruva Maharaj, all his material desires, everything removed. And Dhruva Maharaj was only he was happy seeing Vishnu, and he doesn't want any material opulence. But still, Supreme Lord sanctioned the boons, the desires which he had previously. So after that, he returned back to kingdom. He ruled the kingdom for about 36,000 years in the mood of devotion. Just as a matter of responsibility, he was doing all his activities, king responsibilities, but in the consciousness wise, he was purely meditating on Supreme Lord Krishna. And after 36,000 years completed, he handed over his kingdom to his son, and then he left the kingdom, and he went to Badrika ashram, and then he was doing the meditation, and then in between he had a fight with yakshas, and Swayambhuva Manu came and gave instructions, and Kuvera also gave, and he was ready to give benediction. But Dhruva Maharaj has always only wanted, what thing he asked? Only he wanted to remember Krishna all the time, Supreme Lord all the time. That was the boon he put forward, the desire he expressed in front of Kuvera. So Kuvera also granted. After that, he went to Badrikashram, and he was doing all his meditation on Vishnu. And the Vishnu Dutas came from Vishnu Vaikunta in an aeroplane, and they took him back to Vaikunta Loka. So this is all the pastime happened so far in relation to Dhruva Maharaj pastime. So in today's verse, Maitreya was saying, so the great sage Maitreya continued. If you read the translation, my dear Vidura, whatever you have asked from me about the great reputation and character of Dhruva Maharaj, I have explained. This was the request in the beginning of this story. Maitreya, Dhruva expressed towards Vidura expressed to Maitreya, and Maitreya narrated the story. I have explained to you all in detail. Greatly saintly persons, devotees very much like to hear about Dhruva Maharaj. We hear from Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to ask Gadadhar Pandit to recite the pastime again and again. He was continuously reciting. Now, when we see this all in the overall context of Srimad Bhagavatam, this is one pastime where we zoomed in, we thoroughly detailed verse by verse, we studied Dhruv Maharaj pastime. We try to see his character, his reputation, his determination, everything one by one we detailed study we did from last 3 months. And now in purport, Prabhupada was again, he zoomed out. He was saying the overall context of Srimad Bhagavatam, and he's saying, as we see in the Dhruv Maharaj pastime, Srimad Bhagavatam narrates all the pastimes of Supreme Lord and his devotees. But the important point Srila Prabhupada is highlighting in this purport is how we shouldn't read Srimad Bhagavatam, what mistakes we should avoid while reading Srimad Bhagavatam. If you see the first one we mentioned, reading the pastimes of Lord and not reading the pastimes of his devotees. This is one of the mistakes. We all try to live the Krishna's pastime. So whichever is Krishna's pastime, and we try to read, and we try to ignore other pastimes which are connected to Krishna through his devotees. So people will try to avoid those pastimes. Prabhupada is saying, no, we should not avoid such things. Bhagavatam is everything related to Krishna and his devotees. If we are trying to read Srimad Bhagavatam, we should read everything from Srimad Bhagavatam. And another important point Srila Prabhupada is highlighting in this verse is, some people directly jump onto 10th canto, Rasa Leela pastimes of Krishna, without reading any other remaining pastimes of Krishna, just directly jumped into the Rasa Leela pastime. So our acharyas never approved this kind of approach when we are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the second one, because in a outside world, the Bhagavad Saptaha they will do, and they will professional reciters, they will take some money, and they will every day they will arrange some program, and they will start reciting. Randomly they will pick up, sometimes they will pick up rasa dance and they will speak. So our acharyas is clearly saying it is not approved. How we need to read the Srimad Bhagavatam means, like our acharyas explained, if you see Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mapped to different limbs of Vishnu, so the Supreme Lord Krishna, right? So when we see the feet, 2 lotus feet, is first canto and second canto, and his thighs, 2 thighs, third and fourth canto, and his navel, 5th canto, and chest, 6th canto, and the 2 arms, 7 and 8, throat, 9th canto, face, smiley face of Krishna, is 10th canto, forehead, 11th canto, crown, 12th canto. So this is how our acharyas explained Srimad Bhagavatam mapped to Krishna's limbs. So one more thing Acharya also explained, when we see Krishna, how we should see? We are to start from lotus feet of Krishna. So start from lotus feet, go step by step, you see the deity, and finally you reach the face. So face is the 10th canto. Similarly, we need to read Srimad Bhagavatam from the lotus feet, means from the first canto, first verse, we have to start. We should not, when we read first canto, first chapter, first verse, and then we continue from there, first canto, second canto, third canto, fourth canto, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th, then we will get the eligibility, our consciousness will be purified, then we will be able to read Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto. So this is the approach our acharyas recommended, right? We need to start from the feet, and the way we see the deity everyday darshan, right from the feet to face, how we see the deity, same way we need to start from the first canto, first chapter, first verse, and then we finish 9th canto, last verse, then you start 10th canto. That is the eligibility to read all these 10th canto pastimes. So this is one of the important. And another mistake people do when reciting the Bhagavatam, because we have 12 cantos and people are in hurry to finish the Bhagavatam. What they try to do? They try to do only translation. They don't, sometimes purports will be very big and they want to avoid the reading purport. That is not recommended. You should definitely read Srila Prabhupada purport. That is the key message you will have. That there Prabhupada is putting his realizations, his knowledge, his realization, everything putting in the purport. So that will give us more insight, that will make us to realize, that will make us to apply this philosophy in our life. So these are all the various things which we should not do when we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam. First thing, we should not just only focus on Krishna's pastimes, we should focus on Krishna's pastimes and his devotees' pastimes. Second thing, we should not directly jump onto the 10th canto, the Rasa Leela pastimes. First, we should get the eligibility to read by reading the Srimad Bhagavatam up to 9th canto. After finishing, and the third thing, we should not just read the translation, we should read translation and purport. Even though it is very big, sometimes Srila Prabhupada purports will be it spread across multiple pages, 2 to 3 to 4 pages, right? We need to read and understand, right? So, in relation to the purport, Srila Prabhupada was focusing on the reading Srimad Bhagavatam, understanding. So, in today's class, for rest of the 20 minutes, 25 minutes, we'll focus on mood in which we need to read Srimad Bhagavatam. What kind of mood we need to read Bhagavatam, and some of the important aspects of Srimad Bhagavatam, we will try to see. See, like we have many Vedas and Puranas and Srimad Bhagavatam. When we put all these things, how Srimad Bhagavatam is standing out separately? Like we have in the sky, we have a stars, and we have a moon, and we have a sun. Sun is always standing separately from all these, right? Similarly, when we have Vedas and Puranas, many things, but Srimad Bhagavatam is like a sun, which is unique. And why it is? When we see Vedas and Puranas always give us the approach to make our life comfortable in this material world. So, for example, you want to get money, Vedas will tell, okay, you do so and so Lakshmi Puja. If you want to get some good education, okay, do Saraswati Puja. Or so many things, whatever requirement you have materially, if you want, those Vedas will give recommendation to make your life comfortable. But what is Srimad Bhagavatam is giving? Srimad Bhagavatam is telling how to go back to Godhead, how to serve Supreme Lord. That is Paradharma. The Vedas will talk about our Deha Dharma, how to make our Deha comfortable. But here Srimad Bhagavatam talk about Parodharma, how to please Supreme Lord. And more comparison, more analogies we can give, material examples. Suppose if you are in jail and you are feeling so many difficulties in the jail, it is very hot, or you have some insects biting you, or so many. What will you do? If you try to address each and problem, okay, if it is cold you try to make some heaters. If it is some insects are biting, put some insect repellent. Right? If you try to do, what will happen? You'll remain in the jail and you are trying to make your jail comfortable, right? But Vedas does the same way. It will try to make you comfortable in this material world. This material world is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Every step of every moment we will be encountering difficulties. But you try to fix those problems and trying to live comfortably. That is how this Vedas will recommend. But Srimad Bhagavatam, what will it will advise? When if you are in the jail, it will tell you how to come out of the jail. Rather than staying in the jail and making your life comfortable, it will tell you how to come out of the jail. That is how the Srimad Bhagavatam is standing when it is comparing to other scriptures. And when we study Srimad Bhagavatam, what are the key outputs we get? There are 4 things which we will receive when you recite when you study Srimad Bhagavatam. It is mentioned in 12th canto. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranamamalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam Yasmin Paramahamsam Ekam Amalam Jnanam Param Giyate Tatra Jnana Vairagya Bhakti Sahitam Naiskarmya Avishkrutam Tachravana Supatam Vichanna Paro Bhaktya Vimucche Nara. So this is the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 12th canto 13th chapter and the text 18. The 4 key things you will get when you study Srimad Bhagavatam systematically and sincerely. What are the things? First, Naiskarmyam, free from all the material works. Means you perform material activity, but you will not have any attachment to those material ones. The next one, Jnana, you will get knowledge. What kind of knowledge? You are not the body, you are the soul. It will not stop there. Then it will say how to develop the Vairagya, the renunciation, and finally it will develop Bhakti. So these are the key 4 things we will get when we read Srimad Bhagavatam. So the 4 points, first it will make you to Naiskarmya, like you detach from the material works. Second thing, it will give you the knowledge. Through that knowledge, you will focus more on bhakti. You understand what is your position in this, why you came to this material world, what is your connection with the Supreme Lord, and what is your final ultimate goal. All the knowledge you will get. When you know what is your ultimate goal, definitely you will progress in the path. As a result, you will develop detachment. And then finally, you will progress in bhakti. So, this is the Bhagavatam is saying, by reading Bhagavatam, you will develop bhakti finally. And another thing in the purport Srila Prabhupada mentioned, this Bhagavatam is like a ripened fruit, right? Suppose if you see any mango tree, any fruit tree, like example, a mango, you can say, you will see big mango tree, you see leaves, branches, some ripened fruits, some unripened fruits. What is your base first thing you would like to do? You want to eat the ripened fruit. You won't focus on unripened fruit, or you may focus on leaves and branches, but that will not attract you. What is the mind will quickly attract to the ripened mango fruit, right? You want to eat. Same thing, you have many other scriptures, but Srimad Bhagavatam is ripened fruit. So why it is ripened fruit? Because Srila Vyasadeva spoken this Bhagavatam in matured state. Like if you see in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it was explained. Vedavyasa wrote all the scriptures, Vedas, everything, Puranas, but still he was not satisfied. His intention was, he wanted to explain all the materialistic things first, and then slowly divert their consciousness to bhakti. But people, since it's a vast, so many Vedas there, so many verses, so many things are there in the Puranas, people were not able to, they don't have a time to read all. So people were picking up whatever they like if you are Karma Kandi, interested in Karma Kanda thing, they will pick up Karma Kanda related stuff from Vedas. And if you are a Jnana, you will take from the Jnana part. Like that people are deviating. So Vedavyasa was not feeling comfortable. Then Narada Muni instructed him to write Srimad Bhagavatam. So the matured state means how we can understand that this is the Vedavyasa written in the matured state. For example, if you have a neophyte devotee in front of you and a very senior devotee, like sannyasi is there. If someone is, if he is giving the discourse, whom you will go to? You will definitely go to sannyasi to listen his lecture. The reason? Because he is very matured devotee, senior devotee. He realized he has full realization. He understands. Like if you see the verse, 4th chapter, 34th of Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned. Tadvidi pranipatena pranipasnena sevaya upadekshayantite jnanam jnaninam tattadarshina. Right? In this verse, the Guru's quality is explained. Right? Who is Guru? There are two aspects. One, this verse mainly focusing on how to approach Guru. But in that, it is also mentioning Guru qualities. What is that? In the purport is saying, just try to learn truth by approaching spiritual master, inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. He has seen the truth. The senior Vaishnava, the sannyasi, he has seen the truth, he has realized. So same thing, Vaishnava, Vyasadeva was in the similar state. He was completely understood everything. What is required for this mankind in the material world, he knows everything. So that state, he is completely separately combined Srimad Bhagavatam. So it is a matured state of Srila Vyasadeva. That's why it is a ripened fruit. So that is why we need to study Srimad Bhagavatam. And other things, like if you see other religions like Buddhism, Jainism, they will also try to bring them in a proper path. But how they say, don't do this, don't do that activity, avoid. So everything in a negative way into our control. And if you see karma yoga, you try to, if you do the jnana, you want to try to acquire the jnana, controlling the senses, so focusing. So in the different paths, what is your main intention is, you try to stop something so that you can progress. In bhakti, it is, you try to engage, instead of completely avoiding doing something, you engage in the bhakti. And the most important thing is, bhakti teaches how to give our heart to Krishna, how to give our heart to Supreme Lord. So, and Srimad Bhagavatam teaches how to give our Lord to Krishna. So, this is the important aspect of Srimad Bhagavatam. Why? It will, based on the various pastimes, if you see how different Gajendra pastime you say, finally he tried on his own everything. Finally, he left everything in his ear and surrendered to Krishna. Then he came runningly and saved Gajendra, right? So, it will teach us how to surrender, how to give your heart to Krishna, right? So that is the important aspect of reading, important benefit of reading Srimad Bhagavatam. When you give your heart, you will be, and when you give your heart, what Krishna does? He will steal your heart. So that is how then you will turn towards him and you will always stay connected to Krishna. So this Srimad Bhagavatam teaches you how to give your heart to Krishna. And second thing, you need to read Srimad Bhagavatam in association of devotees. You can't, we try to read Srimad Bhagavatam on our own sometimes, right? So it will not give you good, proper, it may give you little understanding, but not the complete understanding. So what is required, you need to do in association of devotees. Like in the translation, when it is mentioned the last time, great saintly persons and devotees very much like to hear about Dhruva Maharaj pastime. And in this connection, I was telling about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He used to go to Gadadhar Pandit's house in Tota Gopinath, and he was regularly reading Srimad Bhagavatam. When he is going there, Srimad Bhagavatam recite, he is not going alone. He is taking Nityanand Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Rupa Sanatan Goswamis. Everyone he is taking and going there and listening. So that is the way you need to read Srimad Bhagavatam. When you read Srimad Bhagavatam in association, what are the benefits you will get? It develop affectionate towards other devotees. So your connection, your bonding will increase. When you all together read Srimad Bhagavatam in association, your bond in the connection between the devotees increase. Then you will not commit. Suppose if you both are devotees are understanding each other properly, then there is no offense towards each other. There is no Vaishnava Aparadha, and that will lead to progress in bhakti. So the first benefit we have to read Srimad Bhagavatam in association, and when you read in association, you will develop the connection with the love towards other devotees. Like Krishna will be happy if you love if Krishna will be happy if you love other devotees more, right? So that is this quality will be different. And second one, inner fulfillment and satisfaction. When you read together, discuss with each other, what will happen? The satisfaction you will get, inner fulfillment. And the third one, detachment from sense gratification. This is what it will be developed when you recite in association with other devotees. And in this connection, Radhesham Prabhu was explaining one example in relation to Bhagavatam, how to read and how to see. Like when you go to spiritual world, suppose after leaving this body, we are going to spiritual world, and the gatekeeper there will ask, what do I want to do? Okay, I did so much service in the material world, I want to relax. Then what will say? Okay, go back. You make your work properly, do your homework and come back. Then you will come back. Then again the gatekeeper will ask, what exactly you wanted to do? Then they will say, okay, I want to serve Krishna. Then again the gatekeeper, no, go back. Then again they will say, okay, they will do more work and come back. Then the devotee will go and come back again. And then will ask, okay, what you want to do now? I wanted to serve divine couple Radha Gopinath. Then again say, no, go back. And then again after some time will come. Then he'll say, I will to serve divine couple Guru. Then the next time, the fourth time or fifth time, he say, I wanted to serve my Guru Maharaj. Then okay, go back. Finally he will understand with the answer. He wanted to serve Hari, Guru and Vaishnava. And not only that, you need to serve in a mode to please them. Right? So that is the expectation. So Srimad Bhagavatam develops this kind of mentality, the mood, serving the Hari, Guru, Vaishnava, not just for any other motive, to please them, to satisfy them with your service. That is the mode Srimad Bhagavatam develops. So this is the way we need to study Srimad Bhagavatam. And it also mentions another important thing is how with Srimad Bhagavatam develops this Yukta Vairagya, the renunciation, right? One example is when Srila Prabhupada was here, he was someday, I think it was in America, he was watching towards a bus. And devotees were thinking why he was looking at the bus. Then Prabhupada told, why don't we buy such a bus? We can use in Sankirtan. Another time, he was standing in front of a big building and he's watching from top to bottom to the building. And devotees were asking, what is that? Why you are looking? Then he said, why can you find out who is the owner? Can we buy this building and make it as a temple. So what it is, this examples revealing, everything is connected to Krishna. Srila Prabhupada is trying to use everything in relation to Krishna. So that is so this develops what? This Yukta Vairagya. So, and what it's the non-attachment means, suppose in the lotus flower is there in the muddy water, but still it is pure. Similarly, we are in this material world. We are having so many distractions everywhere, but our consciousness is always trying to connect to Krishna, trying to see everything related to Krishna. That was the example. A bus, he saw, Srila Prabhupada saw a bus and he wanted to use for Sankirtan. He saw the building, he wanted to utilize for using it for the temple. So we need to see everything in relation to Krishna. So this is the one of the, that way you develop non-attachment. See, so most of that people, like in any other paths, like the Bhakti Yoga, the Jnana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga, you try to control your senses and you try to stay away from material world. But in the current world, is that practical all the time? No. But here, Srila Prabhupada, Srimad Bhagavatam will tell us how to engage your senses without being attached. This is what Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is more practical in this current age, rather than doing very severe, like the Dhruva Maharaj did Ashtanga Yoga for 5 months. Severe austerities. He didn't eat food and he was only breathing once in a few weeks. Right? That kind of austerity we can't do in the Kali Yuga. Only possibility, engage our senses in without being attached to the results. So that is how the non-attachment Srimad Bhagavatam develops. And another one important thing is, in the first canto, in the first canto of the first chapter and second chapter, we have question by sages. Sages in Naimisharanya, they were asking questions to Suta Goswami, who came to recite, who came to that, the 80,000 sages, they are doing yajna for the benefit of mankind in Naimisharanya. And then Suta Goswami came there, and all these sages, they started asking questions. And one of the questions they asked, the sixth question is it, what is the, okay, where have religious principles gone now that Krishna has departed from this planet? Now, Krishna left this because he finished his pastimes in Dwapar Yuga, yeah, and he left. And the Kali Yuga is coming. Now they are asking, what is the ultimate shelter of mankind in this Kali Yuga? Because Krishna has already left. To whom we have, to where we can take the shelter for this mankind? Then the Suta Goswami mentioned that Srimad Bhagavatam is the ultimate shelter for this mankind. So the Srimad Bhagavatam verse, first canto, third chapter and 43rd verse, it is mentioned. I'll just read out the translation. The Bhagavat Purana is brilliant as the sun, and it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Purana. So that's what the Suta Goswami means. For the ultimate shelter for this mankind in the Kali Yuga is taking the shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. And few other qualities, like in it was mentioned, right, the 5 potent forms of bhakti, which is Rupa Goswami mentioned, right? One of the aspect is reading Srimad Bhagavatam daily. That is one of the aspect of 5 angas of bhakti. And one more thing, we should not read the scripture, the Bhagavatam, considering as an exercise of intelligence. It's not that since I have the intelligence, I read Srimad Bhagavatam, I pass the exam, I'll get the certificate, I'll become a Bhakti Shastri or Bhakti Vaibhav certificate. That should not be the mood. That is only byproduct of studying scriptures. What should be, you should never look for the intelligence point of view. So Chanakya was saying that if you don't use your intelligence in developing bhakti, it's like a dog's tail. So this is what we can understand. So if you are reading bhakti, if you are reading Bhagavatam to showcase your intelligence, it's like a dog's tail. What is the dog's tail does? It is always upward, right? If some flies are touching your backside, it cannot it will not make you to go those insects away, right? It will not protect your back part. But whereas a cow, tail is straight. If any flies or insects coming into the backside, it will shake his tail, so those flies will go away, right? So if you don't use your intelligence in developing bhakti, it's like a dog's tail. It's of no use. So this is the how Chanakya is saying. So when we read Srimad Bhagavatam, it's not for intelligence purpose. We should use it for our bhakti to them. And one more thing is, our spiritual study shouldn't be intellectual. So it should not be just, okay, I know grammar, I know Sanskrit, that is the only I can read. That should not be the case. Right? So in one pastime in Chaitanya Charitamrita it is there. I'll quickly finish in 5 minutes. So Devanand Pandit pastime, where Devanand Pandit was reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, and the thousands of people assembled there. And with this Srivas Thakur, he was listening the Srimad Bhagavatam and fell unconscious. He was deeply in ecstatic mood and he fell unconscious. But what these disciples of Devanand Pandit did, he took that Srivas Thakur and they threw him outside. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got to know about this. And he was very angry on Devanand Pandit. And he was telling, so, but Devanand Pandit didn't know that these disciples did that way. And but after Devanand Pandit realized what mistake happened, but how he rectified his mistake, when Vakreshwar Pandit was doing the Hari Sang dance in the Harinam, and many people were trying to push him, touched him, then he was protecting Vakreshwar Pandit. So that way Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very happy. Then again he was able. So the thing is, when you should not recite Srimad Bhagavatam just for the intellectual purpose, you should feel, and that should develop the mood of bhakti. That is the ultimate aim. And when if you see this Suta Goswami, when Sukadeva Goswami was reciting Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj, who all are there? Vyasadeva is there, Narada Muni is there. From where Sukadeva Goswami learned Bhagavatam? From Vyasadeva. And Vyasadeva got this inspiration to write the Bhagavatam from Narada Muni. So Narada Muni is sitting in front of Sukadeva Goswami, and Vyasadeva is sitting in front of Sukadeva Goswami. But Sukadeva Goswami is not having any intellectual, means pride or any kind of material the negativity thing. Oh, I am the very superior. See, everyone is sitting and listening my class. He never had that kind of attitude. That is the mode we need to develop when we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? So, like this we have many things. And one more thing, we need, when we are studying Srimad Bhagavatam, we should never compromise our sadhana. Okay, today I need to give Srimad Bhagavatam class, so I will not attend, okay, I will delay my chanting, or I will do morning sadhana, I will not attend Mangalarti. Those sort of things we should not. Sadhana and this Bhagavatam continue side by side. Then why? When you do service, when you do sadhana, you will realize it through your work, the service. You will, by reading Shastra, you will get knowledge. But when you do service, you will, realization will come of that knowledge, right? So we should never compromise our sadhana just for reading Bhagavatam. So like that one example Radhesham Prabhu was giving again, like Gaurang Darshan Prabhu, we know he's very senior devotee in the, they were having the Govardhan Bhakti Vedanta Vidyapit. He is the head of that Vidyapit, right? When he joined Govardhan village in 2006 or 7, what was the service he got? That time they were building all the cottages in Govardhan village in Mumbai, the Wada. He has to build all the mud blocks. He did that service for almost 6 months or 1 year. And then Gaurang Prabhu called him, right, okay, we need a pujari, in the head pujari in the temple, so you take up that. Then he did that service for another 2 years. Then after some time, 2 years, after 3 years, then again they called him. Now we wanted, this is the idea, we need to start the Bhakti Vedanta Vidyapit, so would you be able to teach Srimad Bhagavatam? Then he accepted. Then it reached now, you see how he is very, like when he speaks Bhagavatam, many big devotees, sannyasis will come and recite, listen his Bhagavatam. So sadhana is compulsory. We should never compromise sadhana for doing the Srimad Bhagavatam service. Both should go hand in hand. And like this, these are the various aspects which we can continue. But yes, so the main crux is how we need to read Srimad Bhagavatam, with what mode, what is the ultimate aim we are trying to get by reading Srimad Bhagavatam. That always we should keep in our mind. Ultimate aim is to progress in our bhakti. That is the ultimate aim. So whatever service, whatever things we are reading from the Shastras, that should be ultimate aim, and it should help in progress in our bhakti. So I will conclude here. Any comments, any question? Yes, Prabhu. So why even now the Lord knows Dhruva Maharaj intention, he doesn't have any material desires now, but still he awarded material desires. Again, to showcase all of us that devotee, how devotee responds. Even though God, he got such opulence, like the kingdom, bigger than, but he wanted to teach that he got the benediction, but still, as long as he was in this material world, his consciousness is always fixed in devotion. Right? Devotees may get so many opulent things, but that's what even Srimad Bhagavatam develops unattachment, right? You may be having so many facilities, but everything you will try to use in the service of Krishna. That kind of mode we can develop. So to teach us, that would be my understanding. So the devotees will, even Prabhupada example we see, after in 10 years span of time, he developed traveled all over the world. He built so many temples, so much money was there. But what was his focus? He was always trying to spread even more, preach more, build more temples, right? That was his kind. That is the mode of devotee. Here also we can see that to showcase that what would be the mode of devotee, these are all pastimes we can see. In that angle, in that perspective we can understand, right? Yeah. Yes, Mut. Yeah, it's Srimad Bhagavatam is sadhana, yes, but yes, you need to, but see, in the neophyte stage, what is the important thing is, we need to, chanting is important thing. We are not saying that we should not study, but chanting is the ultimate, that will progress, that will make us to progress in our bhakti, right? So you chant, or you plan chanting such that you finish some rounds and then read Bhagavatam and finish. But if you delay chanting, okay, I will not, I'll first in the morning I'll read Bhagavatam, but I will delay my chanting in the night time. That kind of thing you should. So you should use your intelligence and balance it. We should not saying that, okay, you finish your chanting and do Bhagavatam. That is not the main important. You need to balance according, as use your intelligence and balance it such that you never compromise your chanting and read the Bhagavatam. That is how. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, गौर भक्त वृंद की जय।